Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy, Damian Bunting. I want to welcome you to my white belt journey. So this past week, I had an opportunity to go to one of our open mats at my home gym. Now, this is on Thursday night. It's generally really highly attended. I do a fundamentals class, which is right before it at 6 o'clock. You know, I've been a part of this program. I'm going into my 6th week. So this is really I'm finishing up my 5th week. And after every fundamentals class on Thursday, I see this group of guys that come in. There's a lot of blue belts, purple belts, a couple of brown belts, and everybody just seems, so aware of what they're doing. Everybody seems really comfortable. They seem, really excited. And it's one of those classes that's kind of seemed aggressive to me. So I've really shied away from it. So over the last 2 weeks, I've been really pushing myself and saying, look, you've got to get in there. If you want to get better at this, you're going to have to try and put all of the things that you're learning in fundamentals, all the things that you're doing in drilling, you're going to have to put it into actual use in a real live situation. So I stayed this Thursday for my first class. I had a chance to roll with a couple of really talented and good people. And then at the end of the night, there's a guy named Ricky who's at my program. He actually started around the same time that I did the first time that I went into Team Quest. It was around January, and that was right before my wife had her traumatic accident. So then I ended up not being able to sign up, and I didn't come back until, right here at the beginning of August. So, Ricky has been there this entire time. He's now a one stripe white belt. We're about the same size. I'm right at 255, 260. Ricky's probably, around that same weight, same height, a guy who really mirrors me in size. And I've kind of avoided rolling with him because he's like a huge bear of a guy, but I wanted to take my chances and try some of the things that I've been working on, mostly framing, mostly trying to escape side control. So I'm going to show you guys the rounds. There was 2 rolls between Ricky and myself, and I'm gonna be very honest, guys, it was really hard to watch this video back in the playback, because in your mind, when you're thinking about what you're doing, the attempts that you're making, the skills that you're trying to implement into your game, to see that back in real time, it was very embarrassing and very difficult for me. But everybody has to start somewhere. This is my first recorded roll, and I want to share it with you guys. But this is my first recorded roll, and this is where we are, and we're just going to go ahead and bring it into the stage right here. So let's bring it in. This was on the 5th of September. You can see I've got the black shirt on, the white pants. We're slapping knucks here. And I let me just pause this for a second. So I tend to try and go for like a face tap before going for the ankle pick here. And I didn't really commit to it. Ricky's a big guy. I was kind of worried he was going to sprawl and maybe fall on me. So I didn't really get into the takedown attempt with full commitment, and you're going to see how that works out for me. Let me go ahead and play this. So I go for the face. He doesn't even react because I barely do anything. And then he sprawls right on top of me, pulls me down, goes to side control. This has been the area where I have struggled the most, is when I get into a position on my back and side control. So I'm thinking to myself, establish your frames. I'm working to get my hands in the right position, but I'm not putting any pressure on his neck. And I'm basically just kind of a gazelle at this point. I'm just allowing him to control everything. I'm not making any effort to get my legs in, to create that space. I'm staying pinned on the floor. This is probably the thing that I've noticed the most, is that I should not be allowing myself to just stay pinned on the floor. He's doing a really good job of controlling my shoulder, getting his knee into my body. I'm starting to kind of shrimp away right here, and then I'm able to get into a kind of a quasi half guard. He steps right over that. So he's controlling my head, controlling and I start to kind of bring that leg back in. My goal here is to try and get back into this half guard, but I'm not pulling my legs in at all. I'm not getting any sort of curvature in my back. I'm not doing anything to change my position from being kind of just pinned to the floor here. And he's really using his weight and just laying on me. And he passes me here. So at this point, he just puts a body triangle on me and just squeezes. We tap it up and go again. So now I'm thinking to myself, I'm just going to go ahead and pull guard. So right as he shoots, I just fall back. And then at this point where his arm is, I kind of go for a Kimura here. And I wrap my legs around him. I've got a pretty good grip on it, but he's not tapping. I don't know what I was doing to where I couldn't get the finish on this. Like, I am really, really wrenching on his arm, on his right arm, and he's pulling his left hand over. He just ripped my arm right back off with his opposite hand. He's posturing up. So at this point, like, I'm not thinking at all. It's like I just went blank here. It's almost like when I get into a position where I feel like I have, the coach is telling us that it's over at this point, and then the black belt instructor tells us we can keep going and finish it. It's almost like when I get into a position of having a potential submission, once it gets broken off, like, I get so dejected. I'm trying to get into a position for a triangle. He just throws my legs right off. So now I'm able to get my forearm up against his neck for that frame. He just moves it right off, and I'm just gassed at this point. And so now we're talking about the roll and what he saw. So let me just say this. I think that I really, when I left the workout, I was really dejected. I'm like, man, I'm like a lot of you guys. I study, I listen to podcasts, I watch videos. I'm reading, books and training materials and going to as many classes as possible. The idea of doing certain things and performing certain moves or positions, that's one thing, but in practicality, when you're actually on the mat, that's something different. So I was really feeling down about, how I looked on video and what I was able to do or what I wasn't able to do. And then it dawned on me that there is a paradigm, right? It's called the paradigm of competence. So the first level of that paradigm is unconscious incompetence. You literally don't know what you don't know, right? The second level is conscious incompetence, where you're aware of what you don't know. And I had to think to myself, you have done a lot just to get to this point. In 6 weeks, I have stopped drinking. I've changed my diet. I've lost about 17 pounds. I've started working out again. I am going to jiu-jitsu class 3 to 4 times a week. I'm able to sit here and break down what I'm doing wrong, things that I'm missing, things that should be different, things that I should be instituting. All of that is a higher level of knowledge than I had 6 weeks ago. So in order to reach that second paradigm, that consciously incompetent, where I understand what I don't know, that's actually growth. And I had to give myself a little bit of credit. You've actually grown in these 6 weeks. Congratulations, you've grown. Now you're able to get your ass kicked and be able to, regurgitate why that's happening. So for anyone who's out there, if you're going through your own white belt journey, if you're older, if you're younger, it doesn't matter. If you're new to this, try not to get discouraged. And I think that I'm going to do everything that I can to record as many of my roles as possible. And I want to share those with you guys. I want to be vulnerable. I want to be open. I want to put myself out there, because I think that a large part of the fear of doing something like this is the fear of failure and the fear of how it looks. But two things are going to happen. You're going to fail, and it's going to look bad. And that's the only way that you can grow. So we've made huge progress in the first 6 weeks. I'm at a level of competence now where I understand what I don't know. I understand what I'm not able to do. And there's room for growth here. So that was my first set of roles, my first Thursday night class. And I'm looking forward to any feedback, any thoughts you guys have. Share everything that you can in terms of what you think, what you see, what you feel, and also what you guys are going through, okay? I really appreciate you guys being here. Help me by sharing your thoughts and your feedback. Okay. If you're on your own journey, I wish you the best, and I'll see you guys next time. Okay. Be great.